Let's go. This video is to show the initial step of building a multilingual knowledge graph. I'm gonna use this fictional company. It is a website I've created with Lovable, like a couple of prompts. But basically, I wanted to use a real company with real terminology to guide you through this. This is my workspace here at Black Eyes. I need to populate this with the markets, the concepts, the classes, the relationships in order to build my own multilingual knowledge graph. I could do this absolutely like manually, like adding it in using the UI. But for this session, I'm going to take a different approach and I am going to use the API. You just come to settings, API, create your key. Then what I'm gonna do is basically connect it to Cloud Code. So let's go. I'm gonna open the terminal. I'm gonna initialize Cloud. Um, Now I'm gonna just connect and check. Here I am sharing a markdown with information about the Black Ice API that you can check it and download it from docs. If I give beforehand the information that Claude needs, so the kind of the context, how the API works, I'm gonna save a lot of tokens because it's already knowing where to look. It doesn't need to go through the whole thing constantly. Okay, so the API responded. This operation fail is actually because on my initial command, I was asking for something before I have any classes created. So the first thing that I'm going to do is create some classes. Classes is a way that we have to organize concepts that belong to the same group. Let's take a look at this example. So when I create a multilingual knowledge graph, but I was kind of doing the same when I was just managing terminology in a traditional glossary. I always focus on the concepts that have a unique definition within that company or that project. I seen glossaries that had sign in, download, pricing. I was like, what the fuck? And they were like, oh, but it appears in a title. Yeah, it appears in a title of hundreds of thousands of companies all over the world. They don't have a unique definition within your project. And by the way, they could behave as a verb, but they could also behave as a noun. Depending on the context, they could be polysemic because they don't have a unique definition. You want to avoid creating a knowledge graph with common nouns that are not um, they are not unique to a project. This is gonna create a lot of problems for you down the line if you just start to add everything. So if I focus here on EcoCraft, for me it is very clear what are the kind of concepts that belong to this company. The first ones could be creator and studio, which I could classify probably as product line or plan group, plan category, something in this line. Then we would have the plans itself, three for creator and three for studio. And then I would have the features. 100%, some of those features could also be common nouns, but within EcoCraft, they mean something specific and is whatever the app of EcoCraft does when I click on piano roll. So in this case, it has a unique definition for me. Now, if I was to be like starting creating knowledge graphs, I can absolutely ask Claude for its opinion. And the easiest for me would be to just copy this and any other information that I might have from the company. Maybe it is just source string text, maybe. I don't know, whatever I have. I'm gonna ask what type of concept classes can you see in the screenshot? Okay, perfect plan feature. I can see two concept classes represented, plan and feature. And let's see, what about creator and studio? Do you agree with giving them a class? I like product line, but this depends on how your company kind of talks. If it's this, that makes sense. It's a product grouping, 100%. Okay, now let's create 3 classes in the ontology. One for product line, give it a do not translate policy. Another for plan with do not translate policy. A third one for feature with prefer adapt policy. Add a sort definition for each. Okay, so that's the first thing that I need to do. I need to analyze what is my source asset. I am using this website because it's visual for you to understand. I could also fit it instead of a screenshot, a JSON file or an HTML file, anything. There it is, you see? Everything that I've asked Claude is now present in my classes manager. We have a feature that individual product capabilities available to user. Perfect. The policy is prefer adapt. I want this to get translated if needed. Plan is a subscription tiers within a product line defined by price limits and included features. Perfect definition. Do not translate. I want to translate plans. And then I have a product line, top level product families that group related plans and offerings. And again, it is a do not translate. This is beautiful. I just want to change something, is to give them different colors because then it's easier for me to visualize things. Perfect. Now, take the screenshot again. Add all relevant concepts to the ontology and assign them the correct class. Add terms in its root form. This is where domain knowledge plays a big role. So I want the terms in its root form, singular, no declensions. Do not add metadata, related metadata. Something that works very, very good is like examples. So for example, example correct, virtual instrument, example incorrect for the virtual instruments. Now it's gonna know what to do. I am just giving Claude some guidance as regards basic terminology management principles. I am doing this through prompts so that you can see it live, but in my real life, the same that I had a Markdown file with information about how the Black Ice API works, I would probably have another Markdown with information about terminology management principles that I would share with Claude. So I would say, anytime I ask you to add concepts, anytime I ask you to create definitions, anytime I ask you blah, 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 follow the terminology management principles that I am sharing with you here. In this way, you don't need to repeat yourself. Now, this is awesome, isn't it? It's just added everything for me. It has attached the correct classes to each of the features. Okay, now, okay, take the studio plans and features now in the screenshots and add anything we add. Let me, while it does that, let me check if it's done a perfect job on plans, perfect job on product lines. In the middle here, FX flags. Perfect job. Not metadata, everything is in singular. Okay. Until it has now 2 product lines, 6 plans, 20. Okay, now it has added the studio terminology that we were missing. And let me make sure. Yep. Okay. The next thing that I want to do is like add the source term, add the preferred term in source term, and set the availability for ENS in all plans, product lines, and features as available. Okay. So the United States is my source market. On that market, everything is available. So basically what I'm asking now, Claude, is to add the source market to the concept and set the availability of that market to available on each and all of the concepts that we have here, no matter if it's a plan, a product line, or a feature. Okay, let me check something. Perfect. Okay, and then approve all product terms. Okay, I'm gonna approve all source terms. I'm gonna approve them all because the English are given to me by the client, so that means that they are approved. There is no more legal or marketing pending approvals there. But if, mind you, are a program manager, there are some terms that this happens a lot, that they are started to be used as an A/B testing, but maybe they are not final, or the feature is not yet launched in the market. You could decide that it's planned or that it's finally unapproved, or if it becomes not available for whatever reason, because maybe it's deprecated. So now I've approved all the source terms, and now of course what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna add a new market. Let's do this manually just for change. I'm gonna add the Spanish market. Oh, sorry, Spanish, Spain, Español de España. Not gonna create the market definitions for now. Maybe I will ask Plot to create the market definitions for me later. I'm not sure. For now, let's focus on the concepts, because otherwise my mind starts to get distracted. I'm gonna ask Plot now that I have added the Spanish market to provide me translations for all of the concepts as a proposal, right? Okay, I have added ES market. Add the Spanish terms for all our concepts following the translation policies. So this is very important because I don't want it to translate the product lines or the plans, while I wanted to provide an adaptation of the features when it is needed. And this is also very important. Some features might need to remain in English because that's how we use it in Spain. Piano roll is a good example. We don't translate that in the Spanish market. That's just how people who works producing music talks. And let's see if Claude is smart enough here. Oh my love, how can't I not love him? Adapt decisions. Piano roll and jam session are kept in English, even if the policies prefer adapt, because this is an industry standard terms with no established Spanish equivalent. Loudness retain as it's the standard audio engineering term in the Spanish language markets too. Thank you, Claude. Like, I'm so impressed sometimes, every day. Now let's see if the translations are here. Yep, there is an issue here. It's actually my fault because I have not shared the markdown with the terminology management principles. Okay, in Spanish, common nouns should display in lowercase. For Spanish terms, please fix. Example correct. Línea de tiempo de arreglo incorrect. Línea de tiempo de arreglo. And this is actually an issue that is so spread over the internet that even Spanish people is starting to accept the over-capitalization. English capitalizes everything, like headlines, titles. In Spanish, we don't capitalize as much. But as I said, we are kind of starting to, there's such a contamination here with the wrong capitalization in Spanish that I wouldn't consider it a big deal anymore because people is so used to it now. And this is coming eh, directly from bad translations, from bad terminology management that, anyways, it's been happening for years. So perfect. I like this much better. Greater standard, right effectos, jam session. Okay, this, I am Spanish, as probably you've already figured out, but by my lack of ability to pronounce the S without an S, and I could validate this myself, but just to show you, like, even if Claude has made an amazing job, I so far could not see any single error here. This is your foundational asset. You need to be really, 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 really sure that everything is perfect, because your foundational asset is what is gonna guide the AI in anything that you do afterwards. So this is one of the steps where I would 100% involve human expert linguists or market owners. Ideally, it is a person that has linguistic knowledge and also knows a lot about your product. He's been onboarded on your company style and knows has domain knowledge of, in this case, of music production. So how I would do that, I would send everything in batch approval. Person in Spain, all classes, yeah. And I want to share everything. Very important if you are gonna work with people in general, send them visual context. They need to understand what they are doing. Where does this display? It helps a lot. Now listen to myself. Julia, review the Spanish concepts. Spanish terms, please. Will generate a link, and this is something that I put a lot of care in because I've managed multilingual terminology for quite some years now. It's always been a nightmare. So I was like, we need to find a way to kind of do a better job here. For me, the better job is like you can not send linguists or translators at least in Excel, without context, without definition, without related concepts, without information on how related terms have been translated in the past. This is crazy. And then it is very easy to blame the linguist because that's the easiest thing to do in the localization industry. But an experienced linguist that has the context that is needed will not make a mistake so easily. So basically here they would have like the concept that they need to approve with the translation policy. Then This is the target they need to approve, editor MIDI, the visual context, so they can check where it does appear. If you have more visual context, give it more. Other concepts with similar terminology is in track metadata editor. It is because they share the word editor. So maybe you want to check, and see if you want to keep that consistency. That's why we show them the related concepts. There is no semantic relationships yet because we have not created any. And then I can make my decision. So I'm going to approve this and I'm going to submit my decision here. The last thing that we have to do right now is to create the semantic relationships. I'm going to do this manually. So a plan can has feature and it's going to be bidirectional or is feature off. And now I'm going to tell, I have created a bidirectional relationship. Link plans to features now. Let's see if he gets this right. Okay, he's checking what kind of relationship I have created. Oh yeah, has feature and the inverse is feature of. And I'm gonna copy this because I want to improve this in the API. Check if it's doing it. Not yet. Okay. Okay, so it has identified 72 relationships total across the 6 plans. It's gonna do it in 2 batches because there is a limit on how many requests you can send at the same time through the API. And it's gonna run them in parallel. Of course, just one tip here, I am using Cloud Code because it's the fastest way to create a multilingual ontology. Imagine like if I would have need to do this manually one by one, but be mindful of the tokens. Actually, I normally do this manually and then I would use Cloud Code for different things once I have my ontology, but I just wanted to show you. And the easiest kind of way to show you was by connecting the API to Cloud and create the whole ontology together in just some less than an hour. Okay, it's starting to create, you see? Now it's creating the relationships. So this feature is a feature of this plan. And if I go to this plan, has all of those features within it. That's all I wanted to show you today. Thank you. I'm looking forward to see you on Thursday.